your body, the more you can communicate with yourself. That's what's about to that's what's
Yeah,
about to
like I feel like we all think we have more time than we really do. So, because like you have what you have, and what you think you have is not real, kind of. So I feel like we all don't have as much time as we think we do, and right now it's just like times of the essence to where we gotta every day work on communicating with ourselves better, so that when it comes time to transition, there's nothing left to hear. You don't have to come back for nothing. You just moving on. You know what I mean? I feel like that's it because it's reached that point where the organic AI and the AI are just getting so bold that I can only imagine how it's going to be in 10, 20 years, man. So,
unless we got these lucid dreamers waking up, these aboriginals waking up in their dreams.
yeah, no doubt. I feel like that's going to happen inevitably. But if you getting a bunch of people off of heroin at one, what I mean, they're going to go through crazy withdrawal. And right now, this so-called civilization, this barbarization, is like heroin.
There's
You
always
know,
an opiate of the times.
yeah, like people are so hooked to the system that it's gonna be a crazy withdrawal, and some people die. Some people will die. You know what I mean? I seen Brett Favre talking about that shit. He was like, "Yo, man, I would not." He was like, I was so hooked on Vicodins and shit." He was like, "I'm surprised that I survived when I think about it." He was like, "I didn't really realize what I was quitting until I started to quit." He was like, "I would not advise anybody trying to quit alone because you could die." And like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that will happen, as this shit goes on, as the chaos goes on and reaches its, because it's gonna get worse before it gets better. I feel like as that happens, people are gonna go through a crazy withdrawal, man. They're gonna go through all the all of the parasite pretty much just trying to do whatever it can to keep them in the loop. So
Of
it, it-
barbarism.
yeah, a lot of people are gonna die. I feel like it's inevitable because it's a lot, and not even because they have to. It's just because they haven't communicated with themselves. They're not working on communicating with themselves now, so that when the time comes to fast and stuff, they're
Or to
gonna
die.
really go. Yeah, they're really gonna go crazy because they think that like, "Oh, I'm gonna die if I don't have this."
Yeah.
So I think just like just doing whatever you can do now to where it'll be a peaceful transition into the next phase instead of a lot of motherfuckers are gonna die. Most people's hooked up to the dope and the status, man. Like they said, fame is the worst drug. Status, recognition, and all that.
Validation. Yeah,
Yeah,
validation.
yeah, that's the worst drug. So I feel like a lot of people they get it in different ways. Might not necessarily be famous, but you might work at a job where you are a manager and you have status and you don't want to give that up, or you got certain status because you live in a neighborhood that's better than somebody else's, or whatever it is. You drive a certain kind of car. A lot
And
of
it
people,
just keeps validating the material identity.
yeah, I feel like it's probably maybe 100 million people that be really willing to give everything up, and that's probably more than what people really need to have to be able to repopulate peacefully and have a nice Earth. But it's gonna be rough to watch all these people go through withdrawal. Hundreds of millions of people go through withdrawal of status
And
because
just
yeah,
false meaning. And then like
it's going from like people, organic AI being the status keepers, the Elon Musks and Bezos of the world, to actual AI. And so once that happens, then it's going to be like, oh shit, there's really kind of no status anymore except for the machines and the people that's like merging with the machines, the program that are already machines, pretty much.
and it's cool because that's where the conversation started, because I'm really saying there's physics about immortality and maintaining your memories through that transfer of what's real, the actual reality that we should be focused on the whole time. We should have been focused on the whole time of our mortality, and what's on the other side of that. Like, how do we actually like tap into those billions of years of memories of our ancestors and everything, so we can just make these transitions through to the other side easily. And it's like pretty practical. I swear there's like a practical way to do it. I'm gonna keep working on it, internalizing what I'm working on, but
Yeah, it'd be like that. Like it's that's why I feel like the whole thing is to separate people from their fathers, man, especially the Aboriginal, because that's the connection. The relationship with the father has a lot to do with the relationship with the architect or the heavenly father. So it's like the more that they can separate that, the more that they can try to fucking intercept people. Because if you have that relationship, you have more like your relationship with your mom is like your relationship with the world, with the matrix, with the programs, and with the relationship with your father. Even if you was an orphan, I feel like you can work on that from the inside out. But it's like they trying to sever people so that they only have a relationship with the material, with the maternal. So
Yeah.
like the more that you got that relationship with the timeless and the father, then you can look at it like, man, whatever happens around me doesn't really matter. I'm kind of always gonna be able to fly over this because it's the earth. It's not. I have a relationship with the ether, and so the earth can change all at once. That's what it does. It just changes, and the ether kind of don't change.
Yeah, and if you didn't have a relationship with the ether, then you're just caught in that tornado of like
Yeah,
just attachment without any like reality to kind of ground, like spiritual reality to ground in. But what I was saying in theory though, because I feel like the case with Aboriginals is as much as you try to cut them off and stuff them down and like limit them, all that in the end just ends up being what they use for the come up that just makes them stronger, and it's the exact opposite effect of of the theory of like, oh, do all these things. Because I mean, even there's something you said a while back too about, I mean, how do I if I didn't have a father, which I didn't around, how do I avoid becoming a clone? You know, like a clone of the environment or whatever the fuck.
yeah. I mean, the how do you avoid? I mean, I guess you just avoid it by not merging with women that are not like your father. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like I guess on a rudimentary level, you definitely don't want to synchronize with them because you kind of go deeper into the madness. I feel like it's like planting a seed in really fucked up soil, and I think that's more so it. I mean, the parasites don't ever really want to. They don't ever really want to kill anybody. You know what I mean? They just want to ride the wave. They can't. They don't want to kill
They
off the
can't.
host.
They need the wave. They need people for it to ride the wave.
Yeah, they don't want to kill the host. So it's all about just fragmenting them to where as much discombobulation as possible, and then by the time they get back together, the host can go into a dormant state and hide, and then come back out as a sleeper cell later on down the road.
It's for more subjugation.
Yeah, like all you need is one. All you need is one person to hijack, and then you're in the system again.
I mean, yeah, and then it's just to kill them as slowly as possible, so to get the most out of them, to get the most juice, just suck the juice out of there, get the juice it,
So they can have as much babies as possible.
just juicing these souls.
Yeah, like because like say like if the first people was like fucking charcoal, blue, black, green, black, or purple, black,
Well, the
then like
parasites are just rubbing their hands,
you,
like
you say like you say like the next level, right? The next level down would be just like just really dark black person or whatever. So then like it's not that far off. So then like you kind of could go on for thousands of years without really knowing, and it's just like gradually nudging you away from your original coding. And then it's just being conscious of that. But that's I think it's tough when you're in a state of eternal oneness and peace and harmony. You don't see a lie coming really. I think it just comes off as like different. I don't know if you can really know until you've experienced what lying is or what being lied to is. Because
you can't know what good is until you know quote good and bad, quote unquote. You can't know what good is until you see bad.
yeah, because before that 360 degrees, it's not that anything is good, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same time, the contrast in the when living in separation, in order to get more of a clear view of what's going on. If children are getting, or whoever's getting basically soul raped or whatever, like, to know what that is. If you never saw anything, if you had no context for any of what that is, and you ended up in here, you're just gonna get wrecked.
Yeah, no, that's where I guess the memories come into, like going through these memories that people are having now, as far as like the subjugation and everything, going through it and then dying content, so that you can take these memories onward, is like gold. It's like gold. It's like taking gold, or it's like platinum more than gold. It's like a whole nother level of wealth to take that memory into eternity, so that you can share that.
And that's huge. It's just the sharing. Make it that's a shareable wave in physics. It's called a shareable wave. It's just yeah. Because if you compress yourself all the way to that one point, that 0 point, and then pop out on the other side in coherent form, now you can share it you can share what you have here on the other side. And that's huge.
Yeah, no, it's that's the only way that people will really understand, or be able to to really see it, as if you embody it, and they can see I don't know if you could necessarily want to call it scars, but just see the experience like kind of embedded in you, and then it's just different than reading it, or being hearsay. When you can see somebody that has went through it,
you just see his face, and it's all in an instant. You just understand.
Yeah, especially if you're hyper aware. I don't know how you wouldn't understand.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, this is very possible. Tons of tangible, practical things, and I'm glad we got this conversation, man.
What was the question from the last one? The end of the last one? Did we already discuss that?
Well, because one question was, what's the difference between bliss and joy? And I was asking because I'm saying that something about the true identity and who we really are when we pass through to the other side. It has a lot to do with bliss. Has a lot to do with like the ultimate merging with everything. As far as if it was like sex, you're merging with somebody. It's a similar feeling of like yearning to have sex, but it's more than a yearning to have physical sex. It's a yearning to connect and merge with everything through that keyhole when you're in that primal identity, and that's bliss. And that's why I wanted to ask the difference between bliss and joy. And then another question was just about lucid dreaming, and for the listeners or whoever, what would you say to somebody who comes up to you and they're like, hey, yo, Taylor, how do I lucid dream? You got any tips for lucid dreaming?
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, I think it's kind of all it's kind of all one thing there, where it's like, you want to have sex because if you're doing it the correct way, because creation is alignment, so you would be aligning with God if you create, or the creator, if you're doing that the correct way, so you would yearn for that. So it's more so like, I want to do that because I want, like, it's almost like it's two ways you can go about it. Like, you want to have sex because you want to die and you want to quit, or you want to have sex because you want to align. But you know already that in order to align, that you got to fulfill your purpose, really, because busting a nut is the climax. So that should be like the climax of your life, really. Like, you've done all the you've done all the heavy lifting. You've established yourself, and you've got your feet on the ground and firmly and balanced. And now you're like, okay, I'm well within my purpose. I'm already, now it's all downhill from here, really. So I'm going to climax, and I'm going to align with the creator, and I'm going to start to die. But I'm doing, so it's like, it's almost like, yeah, like, that you're on your return, not on your return, but you're moving forward in your alignment to evolve, to to reach, to just align, to reach, to get to the next space of doing the same thing, kind of, but in an evolved fashion. And I feel like that's what it is. Like, you either go with the demiurge because you want to bust a nut, because you want to die and you want to quit, or you want to align and you want to create, but you know that I can't do something like that until I fulfill my purpose, and then I'm at the climax of my life. So then it makes sense to climax sexually.
And when you do, what I'm saying is the bliss that comes with that climax is equal to rejuvenation. And if it was some sort of pleasure getting him from busting a nut because you want to die, that's entropy. But when you're actually in your purpose and in alignment, and then you have that climax, and you're rejuvenating, and your DNA literally starts to be recoded in this way to when you can keep pushing through consistently through to the other side, and or to the point where even in the last conversation we had too, it's just like, yo, you should definitely be able to be at the level of awareness where you can just lay down and leave when you want, not because your body's broken down and decaying from entropy, but after all that negative entropy is called neg entropy in physics. But that's that being so rejuvenated and so conscious at that point, you could do whatever you really could do, whatever, and then
Yeah,
yeah, you could just
it's no separation. So it's like no separation between you and your son, and there's no separation between you and the creator because you did it in alignment. So your son is the creator, you're the creator. You're not separate from the creator or their origin or originator. So
nothing
now
is
it's all one. So now you rejuvenated, created a trajectory for your consciousness or a vessel that'll create another trajectory, and you know what you've given to life. So it's like, if you till the soil, because that's what dudes are. We're just fertilizers. We fertilize. So if you've been tilling the soil and fertilizing externally and internally all your life, and the woman that you're with, you've been doing that the whole time, then like, I'm only gonna get what I give. So I'm gonna be a conscious farmer, cosmic farmer in a sense, and I drop the seed or whatever, and
interstellar farmer.
the seed will sprout, and it'll be a more evolved version of you that'll just do the same thing and perpetuate that and create that, keep the trajectory going forward instead of just,
Eternity.
yeah, yeah.
Mm, yeah. And so, but what would you say to somebody who's like, Taylor, what do I want a lucid dream? Where do I start?
Yeah, I feel like that's it though. I was gonna say like that. If you're in your purpose and you're doing that, then the more you're gonna lucid dream. Like if you're in order, being in purpose is pretty much just being in order. So if you're in order and you're in your place, then you're gonna lucid dream more, and that's how you're gonna even attract beings that are gonna be able to teach you, like a son or a daughter or whatever. Like you won't even attract them if you're not in your purpose, because you just attract parasites.
So maybe a tip for lucid dreaming is just deworm.
Yeah, I think no, for sure. I feel like that's for sure. I mean, on top of the lifestyle, detoxing and getting in touch with your breath, and because if you're the sleep is just a summation of your unconscious actions throughout the day. So if you're if a lot of people just need to rest, but they're in the melee, they're in the cycles of the melee. So now they're really asleep while they're awake because they didn't get quality rest. So they didn't get quality stillness. So that now they're moving from a foundation that's not steady. So they're
It's a
basically
state of
yeah, they're just sleepwalking. So then now you're engaging in more sleep, basically, because now you're losing touch with the internal light. The more that you're not getting in touch with the stillness, you're not in touch with the eternal and internal light. So now you need more temporary and external light. So then the more that you indulge in that, the more that you're gonna need sleep, and the more that you go to sleep with external light in you, it's like light pollution. You don't really get to be still. You're not really sleeping like you should be. So like you're not really ever gonna get in touch with your dreams. But if the more that you're working towards your purpose and getting away from the external light, the false prophets or whatever you want to call it, all of that, the more that you're getting away from that, the more that you're gonna get in touch with your internal darkness, and then in that, inevitably, you're gonna get in touch with that internal light. So then you get in touch with the source of the light, and then because all lucid means is light. So you got to get in touch with your inner light to lucid dream, and it's just about being within your purpose, not living beyond your means. And if you're not in your purpose now, just doing everything in your power to make decisions, conscious decisions throughout the day to where you're going in that direction, and then you'll have those dreams. Even if it's a little 5-minute dream, it'll be enough to inspire you to keep wanting to dream. So then you don't want to get in the way of your dreams. You don't want to put things in your body that block your dreams, because without that, you're lost. So it becomes like a value system where you're like, man, do I really want to indulge in this just to have a fleeting sense of satisfaction or whatever? Or do I want to have real direction in my life? And I feel like that's pretty much what lucid dreaming is direction. And you got to be in touch with your inner light, and for that you're going to be in touch with your breath. You're going to have to be in touch with all your metabolic functions, really, and you're going to
drop the manual.
Yeah, and really just get quality stillness. I'm not going to call it sleep no more. I'm calling it stillness. Quality stillness. That's it. I'm not saying black no more. I'm not saying white, unless I'm describing like something that's actually white. and I'm not gonna say sleep no more. I'm just saying stillness, because if you're not getting stillness, then you're gonna move from restlessness, and like the Tao Te Ching says, like if you succumb to restlessness, you lose yourself. You know what I mean? Like it's like having no roots.
Because you can never your roots can never dig down because you're moving constantly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like further down the line too, because I don't know if you read the Emerald Tablets, but there's one part in it, it's motherfucking Thoth or whatever, just laying down for 1 hour a day, or no, it's someone I could see that you mastering yourself to the point like you just need 1 hour of stillness, and then you just get in there, you just go again.
The quality's just better, you know what I mean? Like if you have quality sex, you don't need a lot of sex. If you have quality stillness, you don't need a lot of sleep or stillness. If you get quality nutrition, you don't need to have a lot of food.
Yeah,
it's just the quality. It's just quality. So I don't see how that's not possible.
No, 100% is. But to get out of I feel like that's just how hard it is to just get out of the barbarism, or just constantly feeding the material identity instead of the spiritual one, spiritual truth.
Yeah, and like you get out of that identity, and you take a step back, and I feel like you're just constantly shedding identity, and then you get into that alignment. You go through that keyhole. You get to the next level. Because you can't save everybody. The only way you can save them is saving yourself. And then if you get to the next level, and then you can have babies there, and then you can usher in whatever one of your ancestry was ready to respawn in that level. And then you kind of just be the bridge, like have a placeholder at that level. There's always probably going to be a piece of you respawning from that level, or from your lineage respawning from that level, and then you go to the next level. You can't wait. It's like you can't carry anybody to heaven or nothing like that. You just go to it, set the example, and then you can respawn from there. And anybody that's ready will come with you from the inside out.
Yep.
But the outside, it'll look like outside in though.
And you would try to do it from outside in for so long, and then you're like, man, no one's gonna fucking listen. Let me do it on my own. And then you do it, and then it turns out to happen in the opposite way you thought it would.
Yeah, like people, you're just scared to have that much trust in yourself.
Dude.
Right? I feel like that's it. I'd be like, damn, I don't want to totally trust myself that much. And it's like, why? Why wouldn't you?
Because you didn't have an example.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. There. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, they could kill off the Chiefs, and then get them to kill each other, to where and then this is like then you have sons being born without fathers all over the place, and I feel like that's sort of like one of the biggest like issues with that, because there's no example to move by, or no true example to move by. So whatever is in the environment,
you can't help a motherfucker up from the same spot he's in, so you got to get up to pull him up. Anyway, and then they got to reach out. So it's like you got to live out your whole life, go through your whole life, and then you get to the next level. And then I feel like then you can connect through people through their dreams, and you can help them up because to you it's just life, but to them it's a dream.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yeah, once you get up out of the mire, then you can help people up. You can only help up who's reaching out, though. You can't try to help people out that's trying to pull themselves down, or pull other people down, or just trying to stay stagnant. So yeah, I feel like 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 Jay said, man, like Jay-Z said, man, he's like, I can't help the poor if I'm one of them. So I got rich and gave back to them. That's the win-win. And I feel like that's the only way. I mean, yeah, and I think the money end of it is just the is a residual byproduct of it or whatever. But like, yeah, it's like you gotta keep going, and then you can help them, because I think it'll just be opportunities too, but you can't really help people outside of those opportunities too. Or then it's like that Bible verse when it's like, yo, no good deed goes unpunished. Like, you try to help a motherfucker, and I'm gonna punish you for trying to help them. You're tampering.
That's the
Like,
last thing you should do. I feel like that's how you fuck people up, is giving them shit they didn't deserve. And the best way to get something is to deserve it. is to earn it.
yeah, and it's like, it's one hand wash the other that way, because then you don't have then you enjoy giving it if they deserve it. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like Cain in the Bible, man. God was like, I put this mark on Cain. If anybody kills Cain, I'm gonna make it way worse for y'all. His punishment is his life. So don't kill this motherfucker. You know what I mean? And I feel like, yeah, like, I feel like that's kind of like the sense for everybody. You're trying to help people outside of the opportunities too. It's like, if you fucked up, you got to keep moving forward until the opportunity comes back around, because it damn sure will if you fucked up.
Yep. And you handle your own things. Everybody has to handle their shit on their own. And the last thing you should do is try to help somebody, because now it's just created more dependence.
Yeah, because now you're like drawing. Now you can only share what runneth over. You know what I mean? Your cup is full. You don't share the cup. You can only share what runs over. So the more that you trying to help out when it's not appropriate, then you're starting to drain your own cup, and then now you can't even fulfill your shit. You got to do your work and then step back.
Yeah, everyone loses at that point.
Yeah, that's it.
So everyone's losing or everyone's winning, and the in between, that's the melee.
Yeah, and you don't want to be lukewarm. You want to be hot or cold, because you can correct either one of those. You can't correct lukewarm. Like, what I mean, God said, like, if you're lukewarm, I spit you out. You hot or you cold. If you're evil, that can be corrected. You know what I mean? But if you're just waiting for a winner and then you're just a fucking leech by choice. It's like, if you win, if you're trying to win, or you're trying to, you either way, evil or righteous, then through the processes of your life, I think you'll learn. But if you're just waiting to see who will win, you're kind of more evil. Yeah, you're not even fulfilling your purpose at that point.
It's inherently insidious, like, to be in that zone.
Yeah, like you said, it's the melee zone right there.
Damn. Okay. Those are the only questions. Those only questions. I got another question for later, but I'll just keep it.
Yeah, I feel like this is a good conversation, man. I feel like whenever you want to do another one, I'll probably be busy till Thursday, but after Thursday, you know what I mean? I feel like maybe next weekend or something, Thursday, Friday, maybe, if you got some time.
Yeah, I'll tap in.
Word, man. It was good talking to you, Mo.
Bruh. It's so mutual.